Check it out, folks. If you want a convertible and you don't want a rag top, check out Corvette 2025 3LT. Let me tell you what, the dream car has arrived. All right, folks, what do you think, huh? What's the mind blower of this car, folks? 30.4 miles per gallon. Can you believe that? Out of a 6.6 liter Corvette 2025, this thing has been a blast. Okay, I'll take my sunglasses off, because I can look cool in this car, even with my sunglasses on. This is quite the model. And a lot of people freak out and they go, oh, I can't afford that. Yes, you can get into one of these for $68,000. And this is about as luxury as you're going to get. 8-speed automatic, 6.6 liter, V8. It's got cylinder deactivation. That's how I got to 30 miles per gallon. It drops from a V8 to 4-cylinder, 4-cylinder to V8. The color is Sebring orange with habanero interior. You either like it or you don't. I've got more likes than not. I can't imagine how they could get 14 speakers in here with a Bose sound system, but they did. I was pretty impressed. It's got automatic seat heaters and steering wheel, which caught me off guard. I got up one morning, it was like 45 degrees, got in, woo, it's all toasty in here. And then it scales down as it gets warm inside, which is a nice bonus. Wireless phone charger, I'll show you that when we take a little walk around on the car. You got heated, ventilated seats, suede microfiber all inside, which is really nice. Rear camera, front camera, because let's face it, she's a little low on the front and there's not a lot to see out this back window, which I'll show you in a little bit. One thing that this has by having the 3LT, because as you go from a 1LT to 2 and then 3, everything you add on. This has an automatic front leveling system. Now, it'll store up to 1,000 entryways. So if you go to your house every single day, it'll recognize your house once you set it up, and you don't have to touch the button. It'll come up, it'll raise the front of the car so you can get into your driveway without tearing up the front end. Love it. Do it manually, tells you on the dash when it goes up, tells you on the dash when it comes down. This is a track car. You could turn this into a track car with absolutely no problem whatsoever. I highly recommend, if you're going to do it, go to a track. Don't do it on the street. Don't do it on the freeway. There's nobody out there knows what you're doing, and you're going to go left, they're going to go right, and then it's going to get ugly. You've got rear cross-side blind zones. You've got following distant options. Now, this has got the Z71 package, which you don't have to get, but if you do, you get a performance package with rear limited slip rear axle, high performance tires, Z51 brakes and calipers, and then the 251 suspension system, heavy duty cooling, spoilers, performance exhaust, a magnetic ride. Now let's talk about magnetic ride for a moment. I took a friend out Saturday because she wants a Corvette more than she wants life in itself, to hear her talk. And she was going, wow, this thing is really comfortable because it has magnetic ride. The suspension system adjusts itself 1,000 times a second. So if there's a bump in the road, a puddle in the road, now if it's really rough road, there's not a system out there that can correct that. But this thing is such a dream to drive. If you want to go to Vegas, this is a car to go to Vegas in. You want to go to the beach where we went, this is where you want to go with it. It's got plenty of visibility, and people just love this thing. What else we got? And of course, it's got traction control, and we've already talked about traction control, and we're not going to do that. Let me tell you, we've had that conversation. The only thing I do want to mention, some of the models, like I was mentioning, because you can get, for example, if you start off just with the standard Stingray V8, we're talking 490 horsepower and 465 foot-pounds of torque. You go to the Z06, which is a more competitive car than this, and it jumps into a 5.5 liter with 670 horsepower and 460 foot-pounds of torque. And then if that's not enough for you, there is a ZR1. And the ZR1 gives you a total output, are you sitting down? 1,064 horsepower with 828 foot-pounds of torque. And the power is routed to the rear wheels via an upgraded version of the 8-speed automatic. But wait, there's more. You probably heard about it and wondered what it's going to be like, but it's called the E-Ray. Now, the E-Ray is a Corvette hybrid, 6.2 liter V8 with an upgraded horsepower of 495 horsepower, 470 foot-pounds of torque. It adds that electric motor that sends power to the front wheels. So together, with the electric motor generating 665 and the Corvette's all-wheel drive capabilities, that's where you end up with that number. You've got plenty of Corvettes to look at. 1LT, 2LT, 3LT, and then you've got 1LZ, you got 2LT. So you've got lots to look at. All you got to do is go online and check it out. Now, you're probably thinking, that's nice, but where's the storage? We got storage. So let's do a little walk around, and I can show you some of those bells and whistles as well. All right, we normally don't like shooting in the sun. I like this color. And if you can get up close, once we come up here, you will see an amazing paint. There's enough metal flake in here to take this thing to a car show. All right, we talked about storage. So let's talk about first the front. Couple of punches on this. And this is called the frunk. And the frunk is nothing more than a place for you to store a soft bag, maybe some groceries. You can get to a few of the fluid levels as well. So it does give you a nice little area. It's got a netted area as well, so you can put loose items in here or you can take them out. And so that's what we call the frunk. And then it automatically closes. You don't have to slam it. When they first came out, you had to slam it, and Corvette owners, they just don't like that. Everything on the front end of this car is 100% functional. It's for ground effects. It's for pulling the car down on the ground and giving you a good, solid run. If you do go up to speed, they've been using this car at NASCAR as their pace car. If you look, now this one doesn't have the fancy colored calipers. It has their blacked out calipers, just like the wheels, which I like with the orange look to it. They didn't vent the rotors. I think you get that higher up on the level of the car. Real easy to get in and out of. Just all you have to do is just push this little button underneath here. So I'm going to let the cameraman stand right here for a second, because I'm going to go over here and show you something that I thought was really innovative when it came to controls, bells, and whistles. Okay, to start with, you need to look at that steering wheel. Now that steering wheel is not round, and they have a name for it, and I can't remember what it is because it's silly. But they do it so you can see all the gauges on the dash, and your legs are clear because the bottom of the steering wheel is flat, and most competitive cars will do that. But look at this. Everything that you'd want, from seat heaters, put it on automatic, to defrost, turn the thing off, back window defroster, front, all on one side. The top half is for the driver and the bottom half is for the passenger. I think that's a phenomenal way of doing it. And if you were to measure the driver compartment compared to the passenger compartment, the driver has more room than the passenger. Why? Because they're the driver. This little guy right here, this is where there's a knob under here, and you can change it to different kinds of driving modes, from track to sport to individual. So all you have to do is reach underneath there. These little buttons, this is what lowers the car. This turns off traction control, which we're not going to do. Great screen. Got a nice screen. It's easy. If we want, we can look at that. Here's where the phone charger is. And I thought that was very unique that they put the phone charger right here. Easy to get to when you go to get out of the cars. If you'll notice, there's holes in the tops of the steering of the seats. The reason they do that is so they can get seat belts. If you're going to put a 5-point harness in here and you're going to go run, then you've got to have the adequate belts. And this vehicle is track ready. All right. Engine, like I said, is in the rear. You can't really get to it. The only one that can really maintain it is the dealer, which is fine with me. This is a rather small back window, and a lot of people have said, geez, it's pretty small, but it has such a great camera system on it. It's really not that bad of a deal. Got your spoiler, again, part of the Z51. You got the exhaust system, 2 and 2, and then to get into the trunk, okay. By the way, if you're wondering what this is here, this is a Stingray. And it's been around a long time, so they'd like to highlight that, did it in black. But when you lift this up, you've got even more space back in here. You got a net for loose items. You could probably get a bag or two, maybe 3 golf bags in here. I don't know, I don't golf. I don't know how much room you'd have. And then another really great feature on this trunk, you just, and down it goes. If you want to buy an exotic, if you're getting to that midlife crisis or you've done extremely well in business and you want to treat yourself, you can buy a Lambo, you can buy a McLaren, $200,000-$300,000, or you can get a base Corvette for $68,000. This one, I will tell you, is 108, if I'm not mistaken. I think when I did the math, it came out to 108,000, which I think for the bang for the buck, the ride, let me take a quick peek here. It bases at 8750 with all the bells and whistles, 106,340, including destination. So all I can say is it's a looker. You get a lot of high fives. And one other option, if you buy this car or buy a Corvette, you get a one-day driving school at the Ron Fellows driving school out in Pahrump, Nevada, on a real racetrack, and they won't use your car. So I got to throw this out there. Now, there's no relation, but if you're in San Diego, Bob Stahl Chevrolet, they're called the king of Corvettes. You won't get a better deal than if you go down there, and if you throw my name around, you might even get a better deal. So check them out. They're down there in La Mesa. I love those guys. I've already sold 3 Corvettes, and they won't give me one. You'd think they'd give me one for all the cars I've sold. All right, folks, this has probably been the most fun. The only sad part about it, it goes back to General Motors tomorrow. If you hear a tear across the horizon, that would be me. But if you want to have fun, you want to look good, and you want a car that'll take care of you, just you'll take care of it, check the Corvette out. All right, check out my YouTube page, Mr. Dave Stahl, right on YouTube, and we'll look at more cars down the road.